Are Rwandan youth drinking to escape a reality they can't change? Have you ever walked past a bar in Rwanda on a Friday evening and wondered, why are so many young people there? Is it simply about having fun? Is it friendship? Is it culture? Or could there be something deeper happening? Maybe the bigger question is not, why do young people drink? Maybe we should be asking, what are young people trying to escape from? Because behind every statistic, there is a person. A young person with dreams. A young person who went to school believing that education would open doors. A young person looking for a job. Someone trying to build a business. Someone carrying expectations from family, friends, and society. And sometimes, when reality doesn't match expectations, people look for ways to disconnect from it. For some, that escape might be entertainment. For others, social media. For others, alcohol. And this is where the conversation becomes uncomfortable. Because Rwanda is not simply dealing with alcohol as a health issue. We may also need to look at the social environment surrounding young people. According to Rwanda's Ministry of Health, a national survey found that alcohol consumption increased from 41% in 2013 to 48% in 2022 among people aged 18 to 69. The same findings showed a significant difference between men and women, with alcohol consumption reported at 61.9% among men compared with 34.3% among women. That's not a small number. And another study cited by Rwanda's Ministry of Health found that 28.5% of adolescents surveyed across 7 districts reported having consumed alcohol. Now stop for a second. If almost 3 out of every 10 adolescents in that particular study reported consuming alcohol, we have to ask ourselves, what is happening around them? But let's be careful. These numbers do not prove that politics is causing young people to drink. And that's important. Alcohol consumption has many causes: peer pressure, family environment, stress, economic difficulties, availability of alcohol, social expectations, and sometimes simply the desire to have fun. The World Health Organization also identifies social norms, alcohol availability, economic conditions, and alcohol policies as factors that can influence patterns of alcohol consumption. So where does politics enter the conversation? Not necessarily through political parties, not necessarily through protests, and not necessarily because young people are consciously saying, I'm frustrated with politics, so I'm going to drink. It can be much more subtle. Imagine being 25 years old. You have a degree. You have skills. You have ambitions. You were told that if you work hard, eventually things will work out. But years pass. You apply for jobs. You start businesses. You try different opportunities. And the results don't come as quickly as you expected. Eventually, frustration begins to build. And when someone feels that they have little control over the circumstances around them, they may search for temporary ways to feel better. That could be entertainment. That could be isolation. And for some people, alcohol becomes part of that escape. But is that what is happening among Rwanda's youth? That's the question we should investigate, not assume. Because there is another side to this story. Young Rwandans are not simply victims of their circumstances. There are thousands of young people building companies, creating art, working in technology, starting farms, learning new skills, and creating opportunities for themselves. So perhaps the real issue isn't that young people have lost hope. Perhaps the issue is that the gap between their expectations and their reality is becoming difficult to ignore. And when that gap becomes too wide, frustration can follow. Think about the conversations young people have privately. I studied, but where is the job? I have an idea, but where is the capital? I work hard, but why am I still struggling? When will my life actually begin? These questions are not necessarily political, but they can become political when young people begin asking, Who is responsible for creating the environment in which I am supposed to build my future? That's when the conversation becomes bigger than alcohol. It becomes a conversation about opportunity. It becomes a conversation about employment. It becomes a conversation about education. It becomes a conversation about economic mobility. And yes, eventually, it can become a conversation about politics and governance. Because politics isn't only about elections. Politics affects policies. Policies affect opportunities. And opportunities affect people's everyday lives. But there's something else we shouldn't ignore. Alcohol doesn't solve frustration. It only provides temporary distance from it. And the problem is that the original problem is still waiting when the temporary escape ends. The World Health Organization estimates that 2.6 million deaths worldwide were attributable to alcohol in 2019, and people aged 20 to 39 were disproportionately affected, accounting for the highest share of alcohol-attributable deaths among age groups. So if a generation begins using alcohol as a way of coping with difficult realities, we shouldn't simply ask, why are they drinking? We should also ask, why are they struggling? And perhaps even more importantly, what alternatives are we giving them? Are we giving young people spaces to express themselves? Are we giving them meaningful opportunities? Are we listening when they talk about their struggles? Are we creating environments where failure doesn't feel like the end of the world? Are we making mental and social support accessible? Because telling young people don't drink is only one part of the conversation. We also need to ask what they can do instead. And here's where I think this conversation becomes important for everyone, not just young people. Parents should listen. Teachers should listen. Employers should listen. Community leaders should listen. And policymakers should listen. Not because every young person who drinks is politically frustrated. That's simply not true. But because a society that doesn't listen to the frustrations of its young people risks misunderstanding the behaviors that emerge from those frustrations. Alcohol may be the visible problem, but sometimes the visible problem is not the whole problem. Maybe behind the bottle is stress. Behind the stress is disappointment. Behind the disappointment is an unmet expectation. And behind that expectation, there may be a dream of a better job, a better life, a successful business, a future that feels possible. So maybe the question isn't, are Rwandan youth drinking to escape a reality they can't change? Maybe the more powerful question is, what reality are young people experiencing, and what are we doing to make that reality worth staying present for? Because young people don't only need warnings, they need opportunities. They need someone to listen. They need hope that is backed by reality. And most importantly, they need to believe that their future is something they can actually participate in creating. That's a conversation worth having. And perhaps it's a conversation we've been avoiding for too long.